Let me introduce you to Deborah Reidman. She is a University of Alaska Juneau Campus Career Services Coordinator, as well as a veterans representative for all three Southeast campuses. So Juneau, Ketchikan, and Sitka. She has over 15 years of experience working with high school and state job center, and has been working at the UAS Juneau campus for over 8 years with students and alumni. And I've listened to her presentation, and she's helped me in several of the things I've had to do, so I suggest pay attention. So please welcome Deborah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jeff, and thank all of you for joining us this morning. This session is really applicable to most everybody. So our session today covers social media. And social media has the ability to either help us or harm us with our job search. So in today's session, we're going to go over ways that you can optimize social media for your advantage, as well as how to avoid the landmines, and then how to scrub your online presence if it needs a little cleaning up. So just as the initial slide says, take out something to write some notes with. We'll be going over several things. We'll be visiting different websites, but I just want to make sure that you take notes so that you have some additional information that may not be included on the slides. So with each session, I always like to start with what's in it for me. So here are the things that we're going to be going over and what you're going to gain as a result of this session. There are specific strategies for each platform that we're going to go over. We're also going to talk about how to optimize your social media accounts as a job seeker, and then how to scrub your social media accounts, and then how to establish your personal branding and your online presence. Along the way, if you have any questions, just like Jeff had mentioned, go ahead and type those into the chat box and we'll be able to answer those questions at the end of the session. So I don't know if you've done this before, so it might be fun for you to type in the chat room or the chat box if you have Googled yourself before. So if you have Googled yourself, go ahead and type that in. And if you haven't, then this is your homework assignment for this session. So just go into Google. Sometimes I use quotation marks around my name, but go ahead and type in your name and then see what comes up. This is a practice that everyone should do periodically because you just never know what is coming up in a Google search. And with Google, whatever you're searching for, they're going to list the different sites where those keywords come up frequently. And this is a good way for you to see what other people are seeing. And as you can see by this slide, 7 out of 10 employers check candidates online. But the other thing, 6 in 10 are reluctant to interview people who do not have an online presence. So if you're feeling a little bit like, I'm not sure if I want to put information about myself out there, I'm going to show you some ways where you can make it a little bit more private so people won't see everything about you. It has to do with the settings with each one of the social media platforms. But just know that as you're applying for jobs, this is what employers will do. So check it out. If you haven't done that in a while, then do so. And then the different strategies that we're going to be going over today, you'll be able to apply those different strategies to maybe change up the results in a Google search. If you find that there are some things on your Google search for your name that aren't what you want people to see, then this is a really great site that we're going to go over here in just a moment that will give you some very specific steps of what you can do to change things up. So this is an excellent, excellent site. So I'd encourage you just do a Google search for this particular title. and then spend some time reviewing all the different strategies that are on this site for how to scrub your social media presence. So I'm not going to go over this in detail because this is something that you can do on your own. And some of you are going to spend more time in certain sections, but this is a really great resource to be able to know what you need to do in order to kind of clean up your social media presence. So here are some strategies when it comes to your Facebook profile. In the chat box, if you could type in if you have a Facebook account and if you're really active with it, that would be helpful for us to know. But here is a way that you can set the privacy for your Facebook profile. And if you are in the process of applying for jobs, and you can count that people are going to be Googling you to find out, you know, what they can find out or learn about you. And they may also have a Facebook account, and so they'll be checking you out on Facebook. So once you're in that job search mode, then I would suggest, as this website is also saying, to change your profile settings to more private. And if you could type in the chat box if you have a Twitter profile, that's also helpful for us to know. I have a Twitter profile, but I don't spend a lot of time on it. But you will see here how sometimes it comes up, even times when I didn't anticipate it to be there, but the fact that I have a Twitter account does bring it up in a Google search. But here's some ways that you can set the profile settings to make it a little bit more private. Make sure too, you've got images. So check your images, make sure that they are professional as well. You want to view your social media platforms through the lens of an employer. So when you're in job search mode especially, then go in and make some adjustments, change the images to what you want employers to see. Here's Instagram. Not a lot that you can do. So if you have an Instagram account that you're pretty active with, then read through these instructions to change things up. And this is all kind of temporarily too. You can go back and change it if you'd like. Now we're going to get into LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of those sites that is really advantageous for students, adult job seekers. We need to have a presence on LinkedIn, so we're going to go over that a little bit as part of our session today. But it comes up more often than some of the other social media sites, and there's a way that you can use that to your advantage. So again, here's lots of different suggestions on how you can change things up so that your social media presence is a little bit different than it was before. And if you have any questions on that, just like we mentioned, go ahead and type those into the chat box, and we'll be happy to answer those questions at the end of the session. Now, just like I mentioned, LinkedIn is another site that is really important for job seekers to build a profile on. And so if you haven't done that already, this is something that I would encourage you to do. When I was an employment specialist down in the Seattle area, a lot of the job seekers that we were working with didn't have a LinkedIn account. And so we spent probably about 2 hours with them and some workshops to get them ready for their profile, to get their personal profile optimized so it was ready for employers to view. The other thing that's interesting is a lot of employers will recruit exclusively on LinkedIn. And so that's why it's also important to have a LinkedIn presence. There's some things that you can do just to get it started. And as we go along in our work environment and our work search and what we're planning to do, either seasonally or full-time, part-time, etc., then we simply add to our LinkedIn profile. And it's definitely an advantage, and it's something that, as you can see by this slide, this is what employers want to preview. So here is my LinkedIn profile, and we're going to go visit it and see a little bit more about what mine looks like. But you can see on the right-hand side, it was the second thing that came up in my Google search. And the thing is I haven't spent a lot of time on my LinkedIn profile, but the fact that it was the second one that was listed showed me that this is a site that we definitely need to pay attention to and start to build if we haven't already, and then optimize it with some additional strategies to how to make your LinkedIn profile more effective. So let's go check out my LinkedIn profile, and you can see what mine looks like. There's so many advantages to LinkedIn, and we're going to cover that here as well. But I'm just going to touch on a little bit with this screen share. Here is kind of my tagline, and this is my about. So these are two different sections that I'm going to show you a little bit of how you can do that, especially as a student, because oftentimes if you're not working full-time and you're in school full-time, then how do you create some of the content that's here? So I'm going to show you a little bit about that here in just a sec. But you can list different projects that you have created, so you can showcase some of those things that you have done for people to see. And then you list your experience. So whatever you're doing right now, your current position, and if you are a student and you're not working, then you're going to list what you're doing in school and a little bit about the classes that you're taking, your vocational direction, things like that. There's a section for skills and endorsements that is fun to fill out. You can also get some assistance from people who know you a little bit and recognize that you have some skills that you may not really know that you have, but other people have seen them. So this is a good thing to do with other people so that they can offer some suggestions as well. Those people can also offer recommendations. If you have recommendations from people who know you, either you know, a teacher, a counselor, a prior employee or a prior colleague or a supervisor, then what you do is you submit a recommendation for them, and then they respond with a recommendation for you. So that's where this section is. And then these right here, these are groups that I am part of. And I'm going to tell you a little bit here in the future in just a moment how important these groups are. There's a lot that you can do with LinkedIn with these groups. But that gives you kind of an idea of what a LinkedIn profile could look like and the different sections that you could include. So for those of you who are students, here's a way that you can showcase where you are right now, kind of in your vocational direction. When it comes to the headline, you can list perhaps the different degree program that you are pursuing or whatever type of industry or field or a particular job that you're interested in. And what this will do is it will allow employers to be able to find you through some keyword searches. And there could be some internships that would be of interest to you, that they are interested in seeing more about you, and then they want to contact you to see if you would like to apply for these internships. So the more that you put, the more information that you can put on your LinkedIn profile where employers can find this information through keyword searches, then that's definitely to your advantage. If you're not currently employed, then you can list the dates that you've been in school, maybe what grade level you're at, depending. And then if there's any relevant volunteer or paid positions that you have completed or are currently doing that would align with your vocational goal. Now, the thing that's great about LinkedIn and also all the different social media platforms is you can go in and edit it. So if you change your mind about your career direction, then you can go in and change that up for a different career direction. And maybe you've had an experience that lend itself to why you're going in that career direction. Then you can include that as part of your volunteer, or just, you know, a chance for you to check out a particular industry. The summary in your LinkedIn profile is important, and so just do a Google search for brilliant LinkedIn summaries. You can see some examples. What I did for mine is I looked at several people's LinkedIn summaries that were similar to my type of job, and so I can see what they said, and then I kind of modified the different ones that I used for inspiration, and then added my own and came up with a summary that I felt good about. Please also, if you're going to get started on this, reach out to the different adults that may have a LinkedIn profile. I'm happy to review your profile if you'd like, and then we can give some suggestions on how you can maybe change it up to make it a little bit more powerful. And you can change it to target your goal, whatever that is, just like I mentioned. So there's a lot of different leeway, lots of leeway you can use for this. Now, with LinkedIn, as well as all the different other social media platforms, images are included for profile pictures. And in LinkedIn, it's okay for you to use a profile picture that really highlights maybe what your passion is. So in this particular one, on the yes example, here's somebody who's in fisheries, and you see this person in the field doing what they're doing, and that is acceptable. Of course, we can all see the reason why the no is no. You have to be really, really careful. Sometimes you think, oh, this will be fun, but you certainly don't want to do this on LinkedIn. This is a professional networking site, and this is an actual picture of a LinkedIn profile picture. So it does still happen, but just a headshot or something that you feel projects yourself well to the public, to potential employers. So make it professional. You can have somebody take some headshots of you and choose one that you think, you know, shows yourself in the way that you want it to. And then, just like I said below, if you can recommend someone, then that quid pro quo, you can reciprocate. So you send out a recommendation on somebody, and then they will reciprocate for you. One of the more powerful things about LinkedIn is its search. You can search for people via title, the city, the college, and then all of a sudden there's going to be all these people that will come up that might be in a particular vocational area that you're interested in. You can also look for jobs. So if you're looking for jobs or internships, you can pop that into the search box and see what's available. The thing that you can do also in LinkedIn is there are articles that you can share. So find some content that you find would be interesting to some potential employers, and then go ahead and include that on your LinkedIn profile. You can search for companies based on city, state, and industry. Schools, University of Alaska Southeast is listed, and so you can see all the different people that have attended either a couple of classes or have graduated from UAS, and then you can connect with them via LinkedIn. And the groups is, like I said, one of the more powerful features of LinkedIn, because with LinkedIn, you need to ask permission to connect with people, but if you join a group, then you can have instant connection with people. So I highly recommend doing some searches for some groups within areas of interest for you. As you can see with the screenshot, I did a search for fisheries, and here are a lot of the different groups under fisheries. And in these groups, there are people that you can connect with and have conversations. And with those people, that could lead to a potential internship or a potential job. So making those connections on this professional networking website really works to your advantage. And then there's several events that you might want to participate in. There's a lot of virtual events going on, so you can, pop into any of those that might be of interest to you. So here is a lot of the power that you can find in LinkedIn. Now, the other thing that's pretty great is if you're doing some searches, just like some of those options that you had for the different search methods, you can search anonymously, because a lot of people on LinkedIn have their settings so that they can see who has checked them out. So in order to search all these different search options, but do it anonymously, then you simply go into your settings and privacy and then select the privacy option that is listed here on the screen. I'll go back to that. So you can see the change box, and then just change it so people can't see that you are the one that checked out their profile. Now, here's some tips that we've learned over the years. We encourage our clients to not upload their resume because it puts more information out there. We want to make sure that you can control what is being listed in LinkedIn. So we encourage people to build their profile instead. And so you can manage the keywords and phrases that you want employers to see. Also, make sure that you don't include personal information. Then also you can create a personalized public LinkedIn address. And this is highly recommended as well, because otherwise LinkedIn is going to assign you this really long convoluted address for your LinkedIn profile. So as you can see with this box right here, you can edit your profile. And then once you get to that link, it will take you to how you can customize your URL for your LinkedIn profile. So highly recommend doing that. And it also puts your name associated with LinkedIn. And as people are Googling you to find out a little bit more about your online presence, then this will definitely add to it as well. Okay, so moving on. The other social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest. Here is a suggestion. A lot of us have our personal Facebook or personal Twitter, Instagram, etc. Another strategy that you can use is you can create what I call a professional account. And by creating another Facebook account or another Twitter account with your legal name. So for example, I was known as Debbie Reidman back when I was in Seattle. And when I moved here to Alaska, I was ready to kind of change things up. And so my name right now professionally is Deborah, which is my legal name. And I have a Facebook page for Deborah Reidman. And I have my personal Facebook page under Debbie Reidman. So for my professional Facebook page, I connect with students at UAS, with employers, with colleagues and things like that. And so that's a way where I can kind of bypass having people look at a personal account where I've got some things on there that you think, wouldn't be of interest to employers, and I want to make my professional account really focused on what I want employers to see about my interests and my vocational goals and all that. So set it up with your legal name, and if your legal name is already taken, then maybe throw in your middle initial. See if you can create some additional accounts so that you can have that kind of online presence, and then you can open it up and not create a private account, but you can make it more public. And then do a Google search and see when it comes up. Now, the thing about a Google search too, as you start to apply some of these strategies to change things up, so different things are going to show to employers in a Google search, it takes some time for Google to kind of get that locked in. So give it a week or two and keep checking and see which different links come up when you do a Google search on your name. Now, of course, after you create your professional account, you want to avoid the 3 Ps. We're going to go into some details about specifics that employers are looking for here in just a moment. But the other thing that you can do with these different platforms is follow companies, agencies, trendsetters. So if there are people out there within a field that you're interested in or a company that you're interested in, then follow them. They pay attention to this kind of thing. And it's also another opportunity for name recognition. So they might remember, you know, oh, Amy Rolls. Yeah, I recognize that name. She is an applicant. Oh, she's already following us. She's paying, you know, she's checking things out and staying on top of what we're doing. So something just as simple like that can definitely make a difference. Then also, there are jobs and internships that are posted in all of these platforms, and I'll show you how to look for those jobs and internships with the different ones. So here is the employer's view, what to avoid. This was taken from Career Builder, their newsroom, and I found this very fascinating. Here are the reasons why they decided not to hire a job candidate after they went online and checked out their online presence. So I'm not going to read these to you. I'm going to have you just kind of peruse these. We'll also have a PDF copy of this session so you can go back and check these out. But it's interesting to see the weight of these different points that employers decided what was the most important to the next, etc. I thought the last one was interesting. A job candidate posted too frequently. I mean, it's the lowest, it's only 12%, but that was something that was rather new to me. So we need to pay attention to these things. So use this as a checklist to see if any of your posts that you have on your social media platforms reflect anything like this. Then clear it out. Delete those posts from your accounts, delete the images from your accounts so that none of this is showing up. But this is just something good for us to be aware of. With Facebook, just like I mentioned earlier, you can create a duplicate professional account. Make sure that you have your professional profile picture, and then you're posting images and content that are related to your job search, your degree program. So everything is relevant to your job search. So if you just take a little bit of time and build that, then those are the kinds of things that you would want employers to view. And then you can like employers that you're interested in. Make sure that you fill out the education work sections for a potential employer view. Always view it through the lens of what a potential employer would see when they read your about you, your education, and your work sections. And then for your personal, just like we mentioned, you can change that to private and keep your professional account public. So how do you do that? On Facebook, you go to your privacy settings, and then you simply edit those privacy settings if you don't want search engines to find you. So as you're in the process of building a professional Facebook account and your personal one is still active, you can turn off the settings for people to find you in a Google search. Now, that being said, a lot of employers have sophisticated software, so sometimes they can bypass some of these different settings perhaps, and so we do what we can, but at the same time, we just know that there are some things that employers can use that could maybe get into some things we may not want them to see. So again, going in and changing up some of the things that you don't want employers to see on your personal account is something that was probably a good idea. Now, Twitter, same kind of concept, a professional username and a background image. Those are two things that you can upload as part of your Twitter account. The bullet point underneath your profile picture, this is really a good idea as well. So whatever profile picture that you use for Facebook, Instagram, etc., then this creates more of your personal branding. So as employers are seeing, here's who you are, here's a picture of your profile, and then they see it again in other social media platforms, then it kind of locks you in, which is a good thing. So that's part of your personal branding. Think about what you want to project as your personal branding, and then apply that to your profile picture. Professional tweets, of course. So read through some other people's tweets, and then you can see what you may want to avoid, how you want yours to sound. So, and it's always good to tweet different things that are applicable to your job search. And especially when you're following companies or job boards, industry experts, alumni, these are good to do because those people will continue to come across your feed. And then relevant articles, if there's something that you came across that you think, gosh, this would be really good to put out there, that's relevant to your job search, then that's something that is good to do. If you're looking for jobs, then you can simply do a job search on Twitter by using the hashtags of these three different examples here. So again, a lot of employers will recruit exclusively through social media platforms. And that's why it's important for us to have a presence as well as to have a positive professional presence, because we don't want to miss out on some of these really great opportunities. And then connecting with people through social media will again open up some more opportunities for them to get to know you a little bit better. And then when the job comes up or the internship comes up, then you are so on their radar. So that's definitely an advantage. When it comes to Instagram and YouTube, it's very visual. So here are some strategies for these two platforms. I highly recommend adding a link to your profile in LinkedIn, as well as a personal website. Create a personal website through Wix or Squarespace, and then you can add a link to that personal website on the social media platforms. If you haven't tried some of these websites to make your own personal website, they're super fun, very user-friendly, and again, you have control over what people are going to see about you online simply by creating your own personal website. So if you haven't done that already, I highly recommend it because it's going to put that presence out there for potential employers. And that's what you want them to see. Add photos or videos of you on the job. So have some people, some friends, coworkers, take some videos of what you're doing. And then if it turns out well, then you can post it. That shows people what you're doing and, you know, real time, and how you're actually demonstrating some of the skills that you may have put in your LinkedIn profile or on your Facebook page, etc. And then just like the other ones, follow and or subscribe to companies of interest. They pay attention to this. So have some fun thinking about who those could be, and then go in and just follow them and then see what they have to post. And then you can respond to those posts as well. So again, it's expanding your network of people that may be potential employers. Another thing that you can do with Pinterest is to put a link to your personal professional website or your virtual resume. Now, I don't know if you have tried out Canva. So in the chat box, if you could just type in if you're familiar with Canva. Canva is a free website that you can use to create all kinds of things. It's amazing what they have available. In this case, I created a virtual resume. And with the resumes that they have, I started with a template and then I built it from there. I also have some links that are posted there. Let me show you this right here. So right here, if you can see my arrow, these are some prezzies that I created on how to find jobs in the state of Alaska, jobs in Southeast Alaska. And these are specific for the students at UAS, when they're thinking about summer seasonal positions. So I was able to post these different presentations in my virtual resume. And then over here on the example on the right, I have letters of recommendation that I'm able to post. And so people can click on those and actually see the document. They can click on the projects and then watch the different projects and see my skill level with those and the content as well. On Pinterest, create a board with posts that would be of interest to potential employers. You can have some fun with this. What kinds of things do you want them to see? What kinds of things do you want to follow? And they'll be able to do a search on Pinterest and yours might come up. So that would be an advantage. And of course, follow companies and follow industry experts. You'll find that there are certain people within industries that come up frequently and they have really great things to say. And you'll start to pick up that these are experts within the industry. So you're going to learn a lot from them, but you'll also perhaps get on their radar or get on one of their employees' radar as they're looking at potential candidates that they're considering for an upcoming opportunity, job opportunity. So that pretty much covers our session. Hopefully there were some strategies here that you'll be able to use. PDF of this session will be emailed to you this week. So you'll be able to review this and we'll have some links that will be embedded within this PDF so then you can go visit some of those sites that we did look up. And tomorrow we're going to be moving on to References 101. What kinds of things do you need to be aware of when it comes to creating a references list? How to ask? What if you don't want to include somebody on your references list? Then we're going to give you some strategies on those. And then the last session on Wednesday is Mastering the Art of Starting a New Job. When you get that job, you want to make sure that you can keep that job. So we're going to go over some strategies on how to best do that. I've got some input from some employers that I'm familiar with to get some insight as far as what they're looking for. And then again, just some strategies so that you can plan ahead to make sure that when you get to that probationary period, that you make it through that probationary period and you become a valued employee. So we'll be going over some strategies on Thursday at the same time. So right now, I would like to turn it over to my co-host, Jeff.
Thank you, Deborah. So again, this was a Complete to Compete program from the University of Alaska Southeast. And we're glad you're here. And we hope that you can attend either tomorrow and then on Wednesday and Thursday. And so now we'll end the recording. And if you have questions, type them into the chat box, please.